All right, looks like we're live, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy
Wonderful
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving
everybody.
day. Wonderful Thanksgiving day out here. Let's make sure this is going out okay onto the old YouTubes. And all right, sounds good. Okay, so I didn't really have much of an agenda tonight. It's just kind of bored here. The evening, everybody's kind of quieted down, but being a night owl that I am, I'm still up, and figured I'd stream. Um, First, there's a couple things. Obviously, we're going to talk about Thanksgiving a bit. Um, Luke, there's a bit of background noise on your end. Could you mute your mic if you're not talking? Thank you. It's a bit distracting. So we're going to talk about Thanksgiving some, and first, I kind of want to shit on Lord Southern a bit because why not? She had a video out, I think today, on why she's not married. I didn't watch it because I don't really watch her stuff. But Forney was telling me he commented on it that everyone who liked this video is a disgrace, and she apparently blocked him from commenting just for that. Um, I said to Forney, I'm like, so what is the synopsis of it? Is it that she can't go start a family because the world needs more 82-page books? Um, Apparently, it's partly that her work is oh so important, and also she's too young. Which no, you're not, sweetie. You're not too fucking young. If anything, you're getting too old. Um, this is a lie that the boomers sold millennials and I guess Gen Xers too. But you got your whole life ahead of you. Make sure you spend the first quarter of a century of your life dicking off and not doing. No, that's a whole lot of bullshit. I'm here to tell you, as somebody that bought a little too much into that lie, it's a whole lot of bullshit. If you're listening to me, and I know I got some high school kids listening to me, I would hope I ain't got any younger than that because this show's not geared for you. If you're like 13 or younger, turn this off. This is not for you. This is, yeah, not for you. But I know I got a lot of teenagers listening to me. And, if you're a teenager, you might be, maybe you got a girlfriend, or boyfriend. I don't know. Mostly male audience, but I know I got some women listening. And everybody tells you like, oh, that's just puppy love. Don't take that seriously. Don't take that seriously. And you got your whole life ahead of you. And make sure you go to school and get a worthless degree. And then come out when you're 25 and it's harder to find somebody. No, 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 no. Now, I'm not saying go marry the first girl that bats her pretty little eyes at you. But you know what? You might. And there's nothing wrong with that. And all these boomers that want to tell you that your high school sweetheart relationship doesn't mean shit. You get 3 beers in them and they won't shut up about theirs and how, she got away and stuff like that. So I'm here to tell you this. You're too young to get married, start a family. That's bullshit. All right. You find a good woman or a good man. You get married. Yeah, try and get under your feet a little bit before you have a kid. Before you have your first kid. Try and, I'm not saying you gotta, have the whole kid's fucking college fund saved up before you, but if you and her are both living paycheck to paycheck and on 2 incomes and you're barely scraping by and you're eating ramen noodles every fucking night, maybe you need to get your act a little bit more together first. All I'm saying. But go out if you want to have a family, go out there and have a family, right? And that's the thing. Oh, I'm too young and my work's too important. I'd respect her more if she was just like, I don't want to. Like, okay, like you don't necessarily have to. All right, you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. I mean, we all have our choices to make in life. And you might regret that choice in your golden years, but again, that's you. That's on you. It's your choice to make. And on one level, I understand why she doesn't want to, why she wouldn't want to, because I mean, she's living a sweet life now, isn't she? She's got herself an nearly endless stream. She's got an endless stream of beta orbiters kissing her ass all the time. all the time. She goes on social media, and she's going to have an endless stream of guys sucking her proverbial lady dick. All right, constantly, just kissing her ass all the time. And I mean, I'm sure that's quite nice. And women like attention, that's for sure. I mean, men like attention too, but women in particular like attention. And she's got money coming in from a lot of these dorks. I said on here a couple of times that her career is essentially the right-wing equivalent of Findom, but that's almost not accurate to say. Because as I've often pointed out, an honest whore is better than a crooked preacher. And Lauren's kind of getting into crooked preacher territory just a touch there with her career. But look, yeah, I mean, she's got an endless stream of beta bucks. She's got an endless stream of people kissing her ass. And she's attractive enough that if she so desires, she can have an endless stream of alpha fucks. So I'm sure at this point in her life, she doesn't want to have a family. Now, whether that's just because she's enjoying the high life of, her pre-wall years, or maybe she's just the type of person that's not for them. Family life isn't for them. There are people out there like that. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. Most people would be much happier in the long term settling down, getting married, and pumping out some kids. But I did stress the term most people there. But yeah, it is, I'm too young. But bullshit, you're not too young. If anything, you're getting a touch too old. No, I just, my work's, no, Lauren, your work's not important. All right, those cosplay pictures Luke threw up a moment ago. You dressing like Samus and looking cute, that's perhaps the most important work you've actually ever done. That has added more to the world than your pitiful ass book, that's for sure. So yeah, I didn't watch the video. Like I said, I don't watch Lauren's videos. But I could tell right from the get-go. I'm honestly surprised the dislikes aren't higher. Again, though, maybe she spells things out a little better in her video. Maybe I'm not being fair to her because I didn't watch it. But I mean, honestly, just don't. If you don't want to have kids, then just say you don't want to have kids. Don't act like you're oh so important that the world's going to come to a screeching fucking halt if you're not doing your oh so important work of pumping out shitty 82-page books. I don't know. What we got going on in chat here? Somebody says Bechtloff telling girls not to be thoughting. Yeah, generally speaking, not a good idea.
Thought shaming.
Yeah, thought shaming. We're doing some thought shaming here on the Bechtloff. Somebody says, as a Gen Xer, I 100% agree with Bechtloff. It was a lie. Yeah, it was. This whole nonsense that you're supposed to dick off all through your 20s and shit. It's yeah. That's fucking perfect, by the way, Luke. I just saw you put Lauren's head over the cat lady. Somebody says, thoughts on net neutrality. Look, I by no means am a computer expert, so there's going to be a lot of this shit that goes over my head. It sounds like getting rid of net neutrality is a bad idea. The only person I've heard argue against it that isn't a complete shill, and I guess this is debatable, would be Weave. I saw a video where Weave was arguing against it, essentially because net neutrality didn't stop Daily Stormer from being censored. So that seemed to be his whole argument. Like, even with net neutrality, Daily Stormer still got censored. And that's, like I said, that seemed to be his whole argument. I don't know. Weave is very knowledgeable on the subject. There's no denying that. I just don't particularly trust him. Weave strikes me as an incredibly evil man. And just And it's not, oh, you're cucking because you don't like his politics. It has nothing to do with his politics. It has everything to do with the caliber of man I estimate him to be. And if you wonder what it is I'm seeing, I would invite you to watch one of his videos on mute and just pay attention to his body language and see if maybe you don't catch on to what I'm talking about. So yeah, that's the only person I've seen speak against net neutrality, and I don't know. I basically think it's net neutrality. The net neutrality repeal is a bad idea.
I was under the assumption that net neutrality in itself is what's the problem.
I don't know. I could have it messed up, but apparently it got. No, you're right. I was misspeaking here. I think there's that clicking noise again on your end. What the hell is that?
I don't hear anything.
Huh. Like I said, I'm not super knowledgeable on it. I couldn't really tell you. Let's see what else we got in the chat. No thought crimes at the Bechtloff live stream. Thought Patrol. So he says nobody in this chat would kick her out of bed. No, nobody would kick her out of bed. It's just, you know, taking her seriously as a political commentator is a different question than whether or not I'd like to rail her. You know, just because I feel an urge to put my penis inside her doesn't mean I think she should be in charge of anything related to public policy. Somebody says, anybody paying attention to DC Rebirth? There's like 10 speedsters now because Speed Force storms randomly happen and turn people into speedsters. That actually sounds kind of cool, but no, I'm not really paying a tremendous amount of attention to it. I'm reading, I'm reading Doomsday Clock, which just started. Dog's over there whining. I might have to murder him. No, I'm reading Doomsday Clock, and that picture you just threw up there is absolutely delightful there. Is that Lauren?
That's her sister.
Oh, that's her sister. Her sister is considerably more impressive.
Yeah, she's a perfect woman for creating policy, correct?
Yeah. That's, oh my God. That ass is holy shit. That's impressive. I really kind of forgot what the fuck we were talking about.
Net neutrality in comic books.
Holy shit, man. That is that's impressive. I'll buy an 82-page book from her any day. Damn. I gotta look at the chat because I can't be looking at this girl's ass and actually do the show. I just can't do it. Like seriously. Like I can barely remember my name staring at that ass. Hey, yeah, you got to get that off there. That's a bit too much, man. It's, dude. Wow. Okay. So yeah. The DC comics. Yeah, I'm reading Doomsday Clock. I read #1. I thought it was really good so far. I talked about this last night. I think it's a very good sequel to Watchmen. I disagree with a lot of the people who think Watchmen is some sort of, damn near scripture that cannot be touched. Watchmen is good. That's all it is. It's good. Um, and I think Doomsday Clock is turning out, at least so far with issue 1, to be a tremendous follow-up to it. And a really good DC Universe story at the same time. I'm also reading the Metal storyline, where there's like evil Batman characters from the Dark Multiverse, which is this sort of like, it's a sort of like dark matter flip side of the regular multiverse in DC, where it's all like these kind of really dark, twisted worlds that are sort of unstable, and half of them have already fallen apart. And these characters are, I'm not entirely sure what's going on in it because it's kind of wacky, but it's still a lot of fun. There's like an evil version of Batman where he's got a Green Lantern ring, and there's an evil version of Batman where he's got like Speed Force powers. There's an evil version of Batman where he becomes the Joker, and his origin story, it's in a book called The Batman Dark Knights, The Batman Who Laughs. And it is, first of all, he looks like Batman, Joker, and a Cenobite came together. And his origin story is one of the best alternate reality stories, kind of what if Elseworld things I've ever seen in a DC comic in quite some time. It just, the origin story in this little universe was Batman finally ends up having to kill the Joker, and when he kills and in the process he's exposed to the same thing, that the same chemicals that cause the Joker to be the Joker, and it slowly drives Batman to Joker levels of insanity, and he ends up like killing the Justice League and basically destroying his entire world. And he's got like, there he is right there, and he's got a bunch of like Joker Robin kids on leashes and shit. It's just so gnarly and fucked up, but it's very entertaining. Ugh. But yeah, the metal stuff. Yeah, there's like the Joker fucking Robins and shit on leashes. It's really fucked up, but it's a lot of fun. It's a fun comic book story. So yeah, the metal stuff and Doomsday Clock are all I'm following heavily. You know what I read this? I read it it came out last week, but they were sold out and they got it to me this week. Was surprisingly good. Boom put out a comic book, King Kong in the Planet of the Apes. And basically it's like, it's right after the first Planet of the Apes movie, and like Dr. Zaius is leading a bunch of the gorilla soldiers over, and they're going to destroy the Statue of Liberty because they want to suppress the evidence that, you know, man was ever ruled the world. And they stumble across a big like King Kong corpse that is washed ashore somehow, and this leads them to like dig up the evidence of, I guess, you know, this storyline's telling us King Kong happened in the same timeline, basically, because they end up, by the end of issue 1, traveling to what was it, Skull Island. And it's actually, I mean, it's more a Planet of the Apes story than a King Kong story. Obviously, it's just, you know, the King Kong elements are used more as a plot device than anything else, but it's a pretty decent Planet of the Apes story. I actually tremendously liked it. And just the title alone has that classic, you know, much like Planet of the Apes itself, has that classic B sci-fi, you know, vibe to it. Like Planet of the Apes in many regards was kind of a throwback to 50s science fiction. In the overall kind of theme. And it was in 50s and 60s sci-fi, I should say, because it was even written by one of the Twilight Zone writers. It actually was originally conceived as a Twilight Zone episode that he then decided to stretch into a whole movie. But it's a fun read. It was surprisingly good. I liked it a lot. What else did I get this week? Doomsday Clock, obviously. There's a few other like crossovers, I think. Like there's the second Batman Shadow crossover that came out right after the first one here recently, miniseries. That's decent. Batman White Knight is pretty good. Surprisingly so. A lot of people were afraid it was going to be this big SJW storyline. It's really not. What else? What the hell else am I reading? That's about. There's So, oh, there's an IDW. IDW did a Ghostbusters Ninja Turtle crossover a couple years ago. I actually wrote a review of it on Reaction, and it was one of those ones where they acknowledged that the things exist in different universes. There was like dimension hopping things going on in the story. They had kind of a sequel to it that's going on right now. It's kind of a letdown. It's not bad. It's very kind of forgettable, and it you'd think for sort of a sequel they'd up the ante a bit on it, but it's like I said, it's not bad, but it's not as good as the first. Let's see, anything going on in the chat. Let's see. Let's see. Fright Power Ranger is not a thing. Hey, mate, I don't know what that's referring to. So he says his ma and pa can't die in a car crash. The current canon, because that was referenced in Watchmen #1. I mean, I guess, or not what, our Doomsday Clock #1. I guess it is. To be honest, I'm not sure if a lot of Rebirth's, past canon is really solidified. In fact, the recent issue of Justice League, which is kind of a metal tie-in, reintroduces Hyper Time on top of the multiverse. So yeah, a lot of DC's kind of not sure what it's doing with its canon just yet. Let's see. The one thing I always thought was silly in the Planet of the Apes movie, and I mean, I realize why it is because it's a movie, but they're all like, "Oh, we don't think the humans are sentient. We think they're just wild animals, right?" But the humans are all wearing clothes, so they're not completely feral. They're obviously not completely feral. I realize they don't even really have any spoken language at this point, but they apparently have clothes. So, you have to conclude that they're not completely feral animals. They're at least at a caveman level of development. Now, I realize that the reason that is because, in a movie, especially at the time, you can't be having people just running around naked. But still, it always kind of, even as a kid, it's sort of just well, and I also realize if you want to even get autistic and look at internal logic, that there was a lot of inherent bigotry within the apes that, they didn't want to believe the humans were sentient, regardless of the evidence. So there was that too, but let's see. So we says Sticks Hexenhammer 666 got his channel deleted. Oh, how about that? I follow him on VidMe, and I know he's still on VidMe. So, if you enjoy the guy, you should go to VidMe. In fact, all of you should have VidMe accounts and be commenting on and liking and following videos on VidMe. There's no reason not to.
This is what the video looks like right now.
Huh. I wonder why, or at least the supposed reason why Google showed him, because he's pretty milquetoast. I mean, hell, he's not even on the JQ. You know what I mean? Usually, that's the thing that'll really get you showed.
I mean, when he did the whole YouTubers circling the wagons, that was actually one of the channels he mentioned. And I saw a sudden spike in subscriptions and a sudden spike in unsubscriptions.
I mean, I don't dislike the guy. I've never been hugely impressed with him. I mean, I often jokingly call him Sticks Hot Topic Hammer 666, but and I've also jokingly said before that he looks like Razor Fist if Razor Fist was dying of AIDS. But yeah, there was no reason he should have had his channel taken down. It's bullshit. But I mean, that's just the world. That's the current climate, I mean, not to make it all about me, but I would defy anyone to argue why I legitimately should have had my Twitter taken away. I violated no fucking community guidelines other than just being to the right of Karl Marx. Somebody says Mr. Repzian and iDubbbz got Showa 2 today. How about that? I mean, I'll be honest with you. VidMe has gay ass hate speech rules and all, but they don't seem to enforce them quite as aggressively as YouTube. And I mean, if VidMe had streaming, this YouTube channel would be fucking gone. And I realize VidMe is a smaller platform, and I'm not going to do as well there. And I'm not even doing that well here. But, I mean, we're just counting down the days, basically, till this channel gets showed for no fucking reason, and Google refuses to tell me why. That's going to happen at some point. Just so you're all clear. I mean, it's, you know, every single day I wake up, I am essentially, you know, spinning a big old... Let's imagine I don't know, 1,000 round chamber with one in the gun, and I'm spinning it every day to see if this YouTuber channel gets to shut down. You know, I mean, YouTube. I mean, obviously Google doesn't want anyone to the right of Karl Marx. Doesn't want anyone that's not a globalist, borderline Marxist. But also, I mean. Somebody in the chat points out, it's funny how Razor Fist is more of a nerd when you look at the pair of them. Razor Fist is more of the nerd, despite appearances. But no, part of it is they want to be Netflix. They want to be corporate. They don't want the little guys creating the content here. And then part of it is obviously an inherently left-wing globalist bias. Somebody says Gab TV. I'm not sure what that is. And somebody also suggests Twitch, which I don't know. I always thought Twitch was for like streaming video games, but I guess I could just do regular streams on there.
Yeah, you pretty much could. Yeah, you could. I mean, it's usually for video games, but yeah, you could do live streaming there.
I have to keep that in mind. See, somebody on Skype just sent this to me. Let me read it. They sent it to me as we were talking about Lauren Southern. Holy shit. I left a comment on Lauren's video earlier this morning telling her in an honest, polite, and compassionate way that she isn't too young, and explaining how me thinking the same thing really robbed me of a lot of happiness, and it's been deleted. It had like 36 likes on it. I just started listening to the live stream, so I thought I'd go back and check if my comment... if it had been commented on or how many likes it gained, and it's just gone. I just finished browsing through the entire comment section. And your comment probably would have shown up at the top anyways. Mine always does when I go back to something that I've commented on. This says to me that deep down she is lonely too and knows something is wrong. Well, yeah. If she's that thin-skinned about it, then yes, she's not happy with the choice. She was hoping a bunch of beta orbiters would kiss her ass and tell her how she's being oh so wonderful. Yeah. Lauren's a joke. Somebody on Skype says, meanwhile, if she came on your show, you'd kiss her ass. No, I wouldn't. I mean, I'd let her on the show just for the ratings boost. And brace myself for her reprehensible fan base. It's just her fan base has got to be mostly cucks at this point. It's got to be fucking beta pussies. It really does. I mean, guys, like, if you just want to pull your pud, you know, porn exists. I mean, I'm not telling you to go look at porn, okay? Porn's bad for you. But it's probably better for you than pulling your pud to Lauren all the time. All right. I mean, because at least with porn, you're not rationalizing it as it's, you know, at least when you're watching some girl get fucking 9 loads jizzed on her face. You're not rationalizing how she's really good for your political movement. All right. Well, enough of that crap. Let's talk about Thanksgiving. Good old Thanksgiving. Luke, did you I forgot. I didn't mean to. But I forgot you're away from your family for Thanksgiving. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I have distant Thanksgiving calls, but yeah, this will be my first Thanksgiving away from immediate family.
Growing up, and that, by the way, the thing you're throwing up, though, the Spider-Man one is fantastic. I saw that earlier today. What I really like about that one, I mean, they're all obviously takeoffs of that famous Norman Rockwell painting, but I like the Spider-Man one. The Venom symbiote is hiding out in the iced tea pitcher. I'm not sure if those are ice cubes or meant to be like eyes on the top of it, but that one's really cool.
Could be both.
And yeah, that one's a lot of fun. Obviously, the Deadpool teaser, same thing. But yeah, I had Thanksgiving dinner. You know, it's a weird thing. Thanksgiving dinners are always like really, really ridiculously early. You know, you're eating dinner at 2 p.m. for some reason. I mean, that's when I had it, and a lot of people do it around that time. I think like 3 or 4 is like the latest people do it. It seems. I'm not really a turkey guy, to be honest. I don't particularly care for turkey very much. But there was also ham served, so I had some ham. And I'm not even a big pork guy, but I do like a honey baked ham. But it's usually a good meal, you know, hang out with family, all that kind of stuff. And of course, every Thanksgiving, and it's been this way all my life, but it's getting worse now. Every Thanksgiving, we got to hear a bunch of liberals fucking whine about the natives and the white man was mean and the Thanksgiving and the turkey, I'm a vegan, or all this other faggot shit. Every damn year. And I get so sick of it. I get so fucking sick of it. First of all, when it comes to like, oh, we stole this land from the Native Americans, and you know, we killed them. First of all, they were killing each other left and right. Okay, it's not like this was a big old peace fest before the white man got here. Second of all, you know, people forget that the early Protestant Puritan settlers and all, you know, Protestantism has a very, very, if there's one thing that you can trace through most forms of Protestantism, there was a very strong belief in the idea of property rights. Protestant, you know, the Protestant settlers, the Pilgrims and stuff like that, they usually, if they took land that was, you know, they didn't just conquer or take shit. They paid for land. You know, famously, you know, New York, Manhattan was bought for $23 or something like that. You know, all this crap about, oh, you know, the white man stole my land. No, Squanto. We bought the East Coast fair and square. All right. Now, if you got seller's remorse, that's your own fucking problem. All right. But no, the East Coast was bought fair and square. Now, when it came to the West Coast, I'll admit, we got a little grabby. Yeah. But you know what? Your beef there is actually more with the United States government than anything else. You know? Oh, go ahead, Luke.
But Thanksgiving should always be remembered as a failure of socialism because when the Pilgrims first came over, they actually had to have a commonwealth and then realized after nearly starving to death that might be a good idea to have property rights again.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's... Well, that's the thing. The church has constantly... the church has constantly flirted with socialism and then gone back. There's constantly been times, especially little sections of the church that are very isolated from the rest of the world, constantly feel like, oh, we can set up socialism now. And then it just goes to shit because it always does. You know, because I mean, why work hard if you're going to get the same as the guy that doesn't work hard? That's just how it works. You know, no pun intended. That's how the world works. The actress from The Big Bang Theory, the one that used to be in Blossom, Mark Dice was making fun of her. She has a video where I think it just came out a day ago where she's complaining about why she doesn't like Thanksgiving, and it's a typical stuff. The white man's evil and stuff. And every time, big old coincidence finder here. Every time she's talking about how us white people need to blah 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 when she's a Jew. Us white people.
Of course, why not?
Every fucking time. Jews have the amazing power of being white when it's convenient.
AKA Tim Wise.
Kind of like what Shaun White does to being black. Let's see. Somebody in the chat says, fun fact, the natives hired the Puritans to help them kill other tribes of natives. So fuck their grievances. That doesn't surprise. I don't believe I've ever heard that, but that doesn't surprise me. Let's see. Let's be clear. Leftists get in a tizzy over genocide if it's committed by whites, but not the Indians or the early the early Hindus. And this a lot of other times Indians got reservations. Indians got welcomed into the larger white society, recognized as Americans. Despite the fact that this land was nothing before we came, okay? It was a whole bunch of fucking woods. And not only that, this idea that, the Pocahontas song about, the paint with the colors of the wind or whatever the fuck that was, about how you're in harmony with nature. A lot of these Indian tribes were nomadic because they were like fucking locusts. They went into an area and they just wrecked that fucking area. They consumed everything, wrecked the fucking place, and moved on. Because it's not even, you can't even call, quote unquote, the Indians, the Native Americans, you can't call that one monolithic culture any more than you could have called Europe one monolithic culture. There were many, many different tribes that lived their lives in many different ways. Some had pretty decent respect for the land around them. A great deal of them didn't, because this is a pretty big continent. And there's a lot of room to move. And there's a lot of room to wreck shit up and go somewhere else. That's actually a process you can keep, assuming your numbers don't get too high. You keep that process going for eons. Because by the time you come back around to the first place you wrecked, nature done fixed it. So yeah, this idea that they were all singing "Kumbaya" by the fire and living in harmony with nature and all this bullshit. No, and especially when you get down to South America, those motherfuckers were eating each other. All right, and some of them still are in the deepest, darkest parts of the Amazon. So yeah, hell, I even have my best friend's Native American, and he often jokes about how he doesn't, have any animosity towards the white man because, and I quote him, "I like what they've done with the place."
I'm always reminded of that joke about that J.R. Taylor says about when he traveled through Africa and he noticed that one part of the area was more advanced than the other country, and asked, well, "Why is the reason for this?" "Oh, it's obvious. We didn't have the luxury of being colonized by the French."
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? Every part of the Africa or here in the Western Hemisphere, North and South America, every part of that was colonized by the British or the French, be thankful, because you could have been colonized by the Spanish, and those guys were some dicks. All right, that's why every place that the Spanish colonized is a second or third world pit of ass right now. Their idea of colonization was to was to colonize with their dicks. I believe they were the first ones to quote the phrase "my dick." That's why they're. I mean, damn near. There are no real pure blood natives almost left in in South America or in like places like Mexico and shit. It's all mixed in with the Spaniards. But yeah, you know what? You got reservations. Because let's say it was conquest. Let's say for a moment that this was the white man come and done conquered your continent, right? Well, you know what? Not a lot of wars end with a consolation prize for the loser. So maybe you ought to be a little grateful there. All right. You got your reservations, you got your casinos where you can take back what the white man stole, one dumb New York Jew at a time. All right. And there's always been a great deal of respect for the natives here in American culture. I mean, everybody mocks, or like now it's become so un-PC to have like Indian sports teams, for example. The Redskins and the Cleveland, or the Cleveland Indians or whatever. But that shit was largely done out of reverence for the native cultures that existed here before. Yeah, it was a cartoony kind of mocking, whatever. Everything's cartoony kind of mocking and shit like that, For as much as like everybody looks at old Golden Age animation and how much they made fun of black people, for example, well, you should see how much they made fun of celebrities at the time that weren't black. It was just people weren't so thin-skinned back then. Yeah, so there's no reason that you need to feel guilty. Oh, the white man done come took bullshit. We fought, you lost, get over it. I mean, also the same leftists that are like, the white man come and took from the Native Americans are perfectly fine with the fucking Muslim coming and taking from us. Isn't that interesting? These same people are like, the evil Europeans come and took everything from the Indians, are like, yeah, but we should just let the fucking refugees flood in here. We was kangs. Yeah, there's it's one scene. I think it's from some recent cowboy show where it was like the Indians are like, the white man done come and took stuff, and then this I think it was like a Confederate soldier was all like, don't give me that shit. You guys were killing each other left and right when we got here. And then you're constantly wanting to brag about how you didn't have property. Well, then what did we take?
Notice how both images have the same noble savage look.
Mm-hmm. Only, I mean, the one's bullshit because the blacks didn't create the pyramids. It's so funny the blacks want to take credit for Egypt. No, Egyptians were not black.
And of course, raises the question: if the Egyptians were black and the Jews were black, does that mean the blacks enslaved the other blacks? which actually did happen.
Yeah, really. Who do you think was selling other black people to? But yeah, all this, you gotta feel guilty. The white man was bad, and fuck you. You know what was interesting? I went to my dad's cousin's house, and usually what ends up happening is my dad and I usually get there before some of the other family members, and I usually, find a movie or something on TV, and then a bunch of the other guys come in, and they all want to watch football, right? Which I don't particularly like football. But whatever, I'm not going to argue the point. So I come in there and I'm flipping through channels, and Jurassic Park was on TNT, I think it was. And Jurassic Park's a great damn movie. So I'm like, well, that's what I'm doing till dinner's ready. And in come a bunch of the guys, right? And an interesting thing happened. Nobody wanted to watch football. It didn't even come up.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, I took notice of that. Because I'm kind of watching Jurassic Park a little bit, and I'm thinking, like, any minute now they're going to be like, come on, the game! My game! And then, I'll roll my eyes and stick my face in my phone for a bit till dinner's ready. Because I don't give a shit about football. I could not give less of a shit. So I'm watching all the cool shit in Jurassic Park. I even watched a little bit of Jurassic Park 2 after dinner, which I hadn't seen in a while, and I forgot. The effects in Jurassic Park 2 are really bad compared to the first one. There's a lot more CGI. Like Jurassic Park 1 used CGI when it had to. Jurassic Park 2 used CGI like all the fucking time.
Gotta go bigger.
And a lot of green screening in Jurassic Park 2.
Gotta go even bigger.
Didn't age too well. Man, the first one's so good. I mean, there's no getting around how unbelievably cool the T-Rex is and forever will be. I mean, you just see the T-Rex and it's like, yes. There's a scene in American Dad where Stan meets God and he goes into God's office and God is playing with some like dinosaur toys at his desk. And he just looks at him and he goes, these things rule. Why'd I ever get rid of them? That's one of my favorite lines from American Dad. Yeah, there it is. He's all like, rawr, rawr. And he's like, these things rule. Why'd I ever get rid of them? But yeah, so I'm sitting there watching Jurassic Park, and like I said, they come, I'm coming in, I'm expecting, Eagles, or whatever, the typical dumb shit. Didn't come up at all. Nobody suggested putting it on. Nobody said a thing. Nobody mentioned football at all. It was unreal. It was like it didn't exist on fucking Thanksgiving. I was shocked.
I guess Americans aren't as into football as they used to be.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, I can't imagine the reason.
Yeah. I wonder what could have caused a bunch of blue-collar working class guys I know to suddenly be a lot less into football. Let's see. I'm going through the chat here, see if we got anything interested in the chat. Somebody says I celebrated Thanksgiving by eating tryptophan-laced food and searching up Pocahontas Rule 34. Let's see. Let's see. Going through the chat here, sorry. Whites should move back to Europe, let blacks, natives, and Hispanics find out what the Chinese or East Indians will do to them. Yeah, a lot of people aren't more as magnanimous towards the losers of a fight as the white man is. Let's see. South American tribes don't deserve anything either. Yeah, I mean, there's still tribes in the heart of the Amazon that are barely qualify as people. They're so backwards. Let's see. go into the chat. Sorry. I read a novel where there are no white people anymore, and climate change is called White Man's Burden. Somebody says Power Girl is now black. It hurts. Oh, the black Power Girl's gone. Don't worry about that. She never shows up anymore. That went over like a fart in church. Nobody wanted any part of that. So that little replacement character left in a hurry. Somebody says I'm Dan from Grim Reaper Gutters. I won't leave until I make a sale. Nice Aqua Teen reference there. Somebody says blacks were sold to Arabs long before whites got a taste. Good old Power Girl. Yeah, the black Power Girl didn't exactly go over well. The Power Girl series from the late 2000s is really good, right before New 52. It's damn good. It started off with Amanda Connor doing the art. But it was good even afterwards. But I highly recommend it. Let's see, what else we got going on here? Anything else here on this wonderful Thanksgiving evening? Somebody says the Black Power Girl looks like Minnie Mouse. I don't know why, but there was a thing at Marvel back in the day called Devil, Dinosaur, and Moon Boy, right? And it was this thing Jack Kirby did in the 70s. It was like, this little monkey guy that rode around on a big red T-Rex. It was like caveman era shit or whatever. Not important. But there was a modern version for some reason of Devil, Dinosaur, and Moon Girl, right? And Moon Girl is a black girl. So they replaced the monkey with a black girl. Oh, I'm going robot? Damn it. Hang on.
Oh, yes, they did. They replaced her with a black girl. Let's see if we can get her on screen. Uh-huh.
So, yeah, in SJW Marvel, I don't know how they got away with replacing the monkey with a nappy-headed little black girl. That's damn. Like, I remember seeing that on the shelf. I think it was like a year or two ago, and I was like, "You fucking really?"
And no one complained?
Not that I know of. In fact, a lot of the SJW were all like, "Ooh, another black character." I was like, "Holy shit, dude! You guys are really missing what they kind of low key did there." They didn't replace a white character with a black girl. They replaced the monkey with a black girl. Oh man. Yeah, that's something.
It's kind of like how people complain how in Tarzan the only people in Africa are the apes, but here is completely okay.
Aaron Clary keeps telling me to go see Justice League, and I'm not feeling it, Aaron. Which reminds me, sponsor this week, or tonight I should say, is Aaron Clary. I'm going to go and read the ad copy, because to be honest, the ad copy is, now that it's almost Black Friday, the ad copy is a little out of date. But the point is, you want to do some Christmas shopping? Get some Aaron Clary books for Christmas. Am I a robot voice again? I see the robot thing up.
Yep.
God damn it. So yeah, Aaron Clarey's books: Curse of the High IQ, Worthless, Constance Man, Enjoy the Decline. Give the gift that can save lives. The advice in this book is books are priceless, especially books like Worthless or Bachelor of Bad Economics. As it's the books nobody wants but everybody needs. So, great Christmas presents there. And like I said, I gave Worthless as a graduation present to somebody, and that's a book that can really change the trajectory of someone's life. So there you go. Now, that said, though, Aaron Clarey is trying to. You talk about bad advice. Aaron Clarey is trying to tell me to go see Justice League, and he didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but he wants me to go see Justice League. He thought Guardians of the Galaxy 2 had too many sappy moments because of the father-son storyline going on there. But he wants me to go see Justice League. Well, I can guarantee you Justice League will have no sappy moments, as it will have nothing even remotely close to a genuine emotion anywhere in it. God, it just looks horrible.
Yeah. One movie I'll see eventually this week.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that one either. Tomorrow, I am putting the Christmas tree up because it is officially started the Christmas season. So that'll be what I'm up to tomorrow. Might snap a picture and put it on the Facebook page when it's done. Let's see. What else was there today? Let's see. People in the chat saying I went robot.
We sound good now.
Yeah, I'm scrolling up.
I typed in Coco, and the third picture is a very busty supermodel that says Coco is an expert baby juggler on TMZ.
What's this about Coco?
No, it has nothing to do with the movie itself. It's just that the third search example is some sort of busty supermodel.
Huh.
Like here, it looks like this. And the title is from an article from TMZ saying Coco is an expert baby juggler.
Okay. Oh, is that? I think that's the chick that Ice-T's are married to.
Yeah, Ice-T's wife.
Yeah.
Imagine the field day the mothers are going to have with their kids' search results.
Oh, Lordy. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this stream up. If you enjoy the show, go ahead and, I don't know, check out the sponsor, for one thing. And also, if you're not listening live, you could like, comment, subscribe. That's a big help. And check out the VidMe channel if you haven't already, vidme.com/the Bechtloff. I think it's like _Bechtloff. Good stuff on the VidMe channel. And the PayPal, if you enjoy what I do, a donation helps me keep doing what I'm doing. And the Patreon, especially. I might make a Patreon goal that I get a new computer to try and stop the robot voice. Though who knows? Maybe I'll buy a fancy ass fucking computer and still won't do it. Because I have no idea what's doing it. I've tried fucking everything. I've tried hardwiring the internet in. Everything. Ugh. But yeah, check out my Patreon. Check out the PayPal. And check out the VidMe channel. Check me out on Gab. Check me out on Facebook, the Bechtloff, both those places. Have a very merry start of your Christmas season here with Black Friday and all that. So, yeah. That's about all we got for tonight, folks. Well, thank you all for listening. Bechtloff out.